It is considered to be the most dangerous job in the world. Being a security contractor in Iraq can earn a former New Zealand soldier or policeman as much as $1,000 a day, and provide the chance to use specialist military skills developed over decades. But as we shall see, the up to $90,000 earned on a 3-month tour can come at a terrible price.
Let's go, let's go! I'm not coming back here. I'll do this somewhere else.
Tonight on 3 News, a Kiwi killed in the world's most dangerous city. The family of a New Zealander killed in a random bomb attack in Iraq say he knew the risks he was facing. Hamilton man Ina Namata died instantly. The vehicle he was driving was bombed in Baghdad.
More than 500 New Zealanders are believed to work in Iraq as security contractors, where they act as armed protection for civilians and soldiers working on reconstruction. Moving from point to point in heavily armoured convoys, they and their clients face the risk of death or serious injury every day.
This job, it gives you what you're worth. I mean, you work for it for sure, and it's a terrible, really bad environment. Believe me, don't think it's not. But you're working for what you're good at, you're getting paid for what you're good at, and you're actually feeling like you're contributing and you're providing, particularly for your family.
It sort of got quite common that a lot of the guys were leaving the army to take up security work in Iraq. And he just happened to get a call from one of his friends one day from Iraq, who was actually based over there, and said, look, bro, if you're keen, come over, this is what's happening.
In this documentary, we will join a veteran of over 3 years in Baghdad, who will take one last journey to reveal the typical life of a Kiwi doing protection work in this war-ravaged city.
It's not an easy job, and not many people can do it. And you can sort of sense the person who can deal with that situation. And the New Zealanders have been excellent at it.
Barrie Rice is a veteran of New Zealand's elite SAS and a security contractor who has agreed to show us the realities of work in Iraq. He loves his job, but part of him believes he may have already pushed his luck too far, and he's now at a crossroads in his career. For Barrie, this journey is about finding the tipping point. When do the risks outweigh the rewards? When is it time to put his family ahead of money?
So that is always in the back of my mind, that he may not come back, but it's what he does, and it's what he likes to do.
One of the things you have to weigh up, is it worth it? Is it paying enough? Or is it time to get out while you can and enjoy what you have?
The journey back to Iraq takes Barrie to Singapore and on to Dubai, before connecting to a flight to Amman in Jordan. There he will meet up with security contractors from around the world for the infamous charter flight into Baghdad.
Being a security contractor in Iraq is one of the most dangerous jobs on earth, because you are a favored target of the insurgents. You are exposed to hostile elements more than the U.S. military is, and you have less resources to defend yourself or to fight back with. So yeah, it's dangerous.
Heading into Baghdad, totally different country. There's been about another 100 people killed there just yesterday and today, so it's not that difficult to refocus on the job, but you got to realise that you are dancing with the devil with this one, and just got to take it as it comes, but prepare yourself for it as much as you can.
Like all travel to Iraq, the flight to Baghdad can only be accessed by those with permission. Iraq is effectively a closed country to all but soldiers, security contractors, and those few journalists willing to face the risks.
From the time we started the spiral to when we landed, it brought back a few memories of diving in. From getting off the plane, just that initial heat, again, that was something I haven't felt for a while.
The only path to the city lies along the treacherous road known to the US military as Route Irish. It is quite simply one of the most dangerous roads in the entire world.
It's a journey of about 10 kilometres along a 3-lane highway. Numerous overpasses on the way, and you'll notice that both sides of the highway actually been fenced, and there's still numerous cases of car bombs and the insurgents conducting activities along this stretch of road. In all cases, what we'll try and do if there is an incident with bullets or bombs, we just try and drive straight for that situation. Then we've got any questions.
Black 3, Black 5.
As Barrie travels in convoy to the city, he is protected by security contractors from both New Zealand and the UK. Travelling in these heavily armoured and bulletproof sedans, he is now like every other VIP client, waiting quietly in the back while his security team carry out the risk assessment work that would normally be his.
We're just towards the next.
This road, often referred to as the Highway of Death, is for those security contractors working in Baghdad one of the most feared parts of the job. At any time, you could come under attack from the insurgency or even the US military, which can prove equally as dangerous.
Coming in from the left now, you've got an American convoy, American military convoy, and we're going to have to just wait until they clear before we can go on. Always stay well back from them because they will fire to make sure that you keep the distance. And it makes it not only dangerous from them, but dangerous from outside because we're more of a target when we're moving slowly.
Overhead, US Black Hawk helicopters draw ground fire away from the airport road. This is a city very much at war.
Okay, you've got the barriers going on both sides of the road. You can get IEDs in behind there, some sort of shape charge. Someone sitting off in one of the neighbourhoods up here, just fires it off, and out comes, a big ball of hot lead that's just going to rip straight through the vehicle. It is dangerous, mate, it is.
The danger while travelling down this road is absolute and very, very real. These photos, which may be disturbing to some viewers, show the results of a coordinated attack by insurgents on an armoured convoy, very much like the one we are travelling in.
Just coming up to a checkpoint now with guys without a very good level of training. If we go too fast at them or they tell us to stop, we don't see their hand signals and we keep going, then they've got the right to use lethal force and they can engage us. Keep going, mate, keep going. Just tell them I'm sorry we're late, etc, etc.
السلام عليكم طلعنا من المعسكر حبيبي ما هو منا دائما لا هم ديودي عادي هم بالمعسكر دائما حبيبي ادري بيهم ديودي اي عادي اي ممنون.
Good man, thank you.
The only place considered safe for Westerners in Baghdad is the heavily fortified international zone controlled by the US military. However, Barrie won't be staying there. His accommodation is in the less secure red zone, where many security contractors and their clients live. Upon arrival, it is clear he will have the comforts of home. But within the compound, he is also alone. For while there are other Kiwis living in the same place, none of them wish to appear on camera. That's the reality of security here. It's a secret and shadowy world, not just for Barrie, but for all the Kiwis working protection in Iraq.
Well, Baghdad's a big city. I mean, it's about 5 million people. Yeah, and there are a lot of security companies here, and of course, because of that, there's a lot of New Zealanders here. Unfortunately, just recently, one of them got killed, and that was, very unfortunate. But it's just the nature of this game, and the more people that want to come over and do this, the higher the stakes or the percentages that more New Zealanders will get killed over here. Because once you are here, unfortunately, you are here until either you die or you have done your rotation and go home.
The situation in Iraq is unusual in that you've got a military occupation going on with traditional troops, and you've also got a reconstruction program going on. So in order to keep the reconstruction process secure, at least somewhat secure, there are literally thousands of foreigners who have come there to work as security contractors. Now, typically a security contractor is someone with about, let's say 5, 10, 15 years in the military, probably between late 20s to early 50s, somebody who probably has skills that are completely worthless in the real world, but are obviously in demand in a high-risk environment.
The last trip he was back, he said, if I die over there, it's because I'm in the wrong place at the wrong time. It's not because the team don't know their job. They know how to protect themselves and protect the people that they're employed to protect, and they're very good at it.
Boy! Are you happy with your smoking barrel?
That's what you call training.
I asked him, why did you employ my husband? And he said, because he had the goods. He had what it took. They used to actually specifically ask for him. Clients used to ask for him to transport him from one place to another. And over there, that's a big thing, you know, because they felt safe with him.
This is the pinnacle, this is the top of the triangle of working PSD in the world. If you come over here with the wrong qualifications, the wrong training and the wrong attitude, this will be your first and last contract.
Attacks like these are the daily threats that Kiwis working as PSDs, or personal security details, face in Iraq. Despite their years of military experience, it is often little help against the lethal power of a roadside bomb. At other times, the calm approach of professional military skills can save lives, as the Kiwi team find out when they join a routine reconnaissance patrol being put in place for US news network CBS. These patrols enable Western journalists to carry out their work despite the constant threats in this city.
Just found out that they could be going down the area where there was a couple of IEDs this morning. That's Sadoon Road or Sadoon Street. So they need to do a route recce. So we're going to jump in, have a look down there. If it's too bad, we'll find another route or come back. If it's okay, we'll continue down, and that'll be the way that they will go to their meeting the next day or two.
We're mobile.
These advanced patrols serve to ensure that when a security contractor's client is moved, that all routes are checked in advance and potential threats accounted for.
You know what could happen. So you have to prepare yourself. And for me, I mentally prepare myself by putting myself in a cocoon almost. It seems that everywhere I turn is another thing about Iraq. You know, what's going on there, the bombs that are going off there. I've spoken to Barrie on the phone when a bomb has gone off while we've been on the phone. It's like the Wild West to these guys. That's how they see it. They have no problem doing it. You know, so they go, and the women, you know, the wives or the girlfriends really do worry because they may not come home.
We're on green and towards red 10.
There's been so many attacks on this roundabout here. Car bombs against... Car bombs? Yeah, many car bombs around here. Big ones against SUV convoys mainly. And we're now coming onto Sadoon Street. And it looks okay.
The police up behind us.
We got a police car coming up behind us.
Just let them pass. Nice one. Roger that, mate.
Police car that just been past with sirens going and going quite fast. What it does, however, is it advertises their presence and the fact that they're coming down the road, and the surgeons who are always waiting for someone to attack will hear them coming and throw a hasty ambush in. Bad for them, it's actually quite good for companies like ourselves, because what the whole idea of this game is to make yourself that inconspicuous and blend in that they go and pick on somebody else and they don't even see you.
The reason there's so much concrete here is because on the right is the Baghdad Hotel, and that has been attacked many, many times before the concrete went up.
Coming up to the Sheraton Hayden is where they had the big bomb last year.
People, guns running after us.
يا بدولة بالسفر.
Hang on. Shove this one.
Hang on, we're getting stopped here. I don't know why.
Turn that camera off.
The rear vehicle has been stopped at gunpoint. The next few seconds will dictate how Barrie and the team will react.
We've gone static.
Right, John, there's just a problem with taking footage going past there.
You got caught filming. Sukran.
We got pulled over there because the rear car, they observed them filming. It's just that everyone is so paranoid and scared because what the insurgents do is they video their attacks. They use it as proof and then they put it on their websites to promote their cause. So anyone seen with a video camera, okay, they don't know what your intentions are and it could be the prelude to an attack. So that is why we got pulled over there, I would assume.
We're just going to do a U-turn on this roundabout, yeah?
John, he looked at his pack, mate.
I'd rather turn around on this roundabout. I think we've seen enough what we need to do for our recce.
Okay, mate.
Well, the longer you're staying stuck in traffic, okay, the easier it is for you to be seen. And no matter what you, me, or anybody that's not Iraqi does, we look like a foreigner. The insurgent will look at that as an opportunity to kill somebody. And unfortunately, that somebody, being a Westerner, is worth more kudos and more money for them than a local Iraqi from another tribe. So the idea of when you're doing a route recce or you're driving is to keep moving, always keep moving.
Less than 24 hours after Barrie arrived in Baghdad, he's had a sharp reminder that Westerners can travel in this city only with full security and in armoured vehicles. Whether it's the armed militia protecting their local neighbourhood or one of Baghdad's 23 insurgent groups hell-bent on destroying anything from the west, death or kidnapping is a constant danger.
So at the outer security of the IC, Hayden, you're going to have to shut your camera down. Okay, Hayden.
Here's an example of a Kiwi. He's flown the coop on his big OE in Baghdad. You know, and it's because of the Kiwi guys, I mean, their training and their talent, which is why companies like this want them. You know, and it also pays for the lifestyle that, damn, they deserve. And the reality is the guys over here who are, working hard and working very well, but basically all they want, is live a damn good life, a damn comfortable life. And unfortunately, you just can't get that back in New Zealand. With our skills back there, it just doesn't pay. So that's why they're here.
As the sun sets on another scorching day in Baghdad, all around the city, Kiwis are heading back to rooms like the ones we have just seen. For them, the rewards continue to outweigh the dangers. But for Barrie, this same decision, with its implications for his family, will soon be called into question in ways he did not think possible.
It was always kind of a struggle to bring up 4 kids and on an average wage, but there had to be something better out there that he could utilise his skills, and this was an opportunity for him to do that. We both decided that, yeah, we've got some dreams and goals we'd like to attain, and this will be one vehicle that would get us there.
Kiwis travel to Iraq for a variety of reasons, but there can be no doubt the most common is money, to pursue the Kiwi dream of home ownership, to see their families provided for.
I know that Barrie has to go to dangerous countries to do what he does. He wants to be the provider, and without money, he's not a happy man.
It's almost like a Hail Mary move to a lot of people where in order to get out of debt, in order to buy that boat or to pay off that house, they choose working as a security contractor.
Him going to dangerous countries and living in Iraq, yeah, it's not great, but you know what? He loves it.
Kiwis enjoy this work because the truth is they're very good at it. Considered within the industry to be some of the world's best, no better example of the demand for New Zealand military skills exists than US news network CBS choosing Kiwis alongside Britain as the only countries they will accept security from.
Yeah, CBS, an American company, is guarded by New Zealanders, right? Big country, big company, guarded by guys from a small island far away, right? Yeah. How do you figure that? Well, I mean, these guys are our buffer against the worst of what's going on out in those streets. And the worst that's going on those streets every day is death and sudden death. If it weren't for them, you wouldn't have reporters here.
There's thousands of PSD people over here, and Some make it and some don't. Your skill is something that has to be second nature. You have to be able to rely on your gut instincts, on the hairs on the back of your neck. You certainly have to rely on your friends and rely on each other as a group. If there's one person in that chain that's weak, okay, the whole chain will come down.
They come with a personality that's flexible, and in this place where things can really get on your nerves after a while, they never show a glimmer of being, anything but even keel. You see it all here. You see these security companies barrel down the road in their big SUVs, guns pointed out the window, and you'll see a guy maybe sitting behind a 30 or 50 caliber machine gun, their heads wrapped in their black claws, balaclavas, the sunglasses. The antithesis of being friendly. And the best of them are low-key, professional, try to blend in, don't advertise.
The way, and I think of the culture of New Zealanders, and particularly in the military, it's always been a hearts and minds kind of program. You go out there and you try and get people on your side. That if you treat somebody as you want to be treated yourself, you'll come out on bet. You'll come out with friends rather than enemies.
The threat, the enemy, is everywhere in Baghdad. And as the sun sets over the compound in the red zone, where the team is staying, the reality of this civil war becomes obvious. Death in this city is always just one bomb, one bullet away. Such is the day-to-day routine of working in a civil war that all around Baghdad, Kiwis will rise from a night of furious violence to a simple breakfast, much like they would have back home. Not every moment is about providing security, and for the New Zealanders in Iraq, there are long periods of contemplation and thoughts of what they will do when their tour is up.
Individually, every security contractor I've met is an upstanding person. They have a military background. They're not criminals. They're not running from anything. They're actually trying to do the best they can with the skills they have in a very hostile environment. And the question then becomes, well, it's not the way I would like to do it. In other words, I don't want to be sticking my gun in the face of everybody that I meet on the street. I don't want to be shooting at innocent civilians to keep them 100 yards back. I don't want to be driving 80 miles an hour, smashing people off the road, getting into gunfights on a daily basis. But that's the business I'm in.
Later that morning, Barrie takes the opportunity to follow the security convoy being prepared for Larry Doyle as he journeys close to the violent Baghdad neighbourhood known as Sadr City to shoot a story.
The security guys have got the maps and the grids and we're talking to the people. It's relatively close to Sadr City, so we want to know exactly where we're going because we don't want to wander over the line into Sadr City unnecessarily. But I think they've got it figured out.
As all security details travel in strictly organised 2 or 3 car convoys, Barrie follows with another team. Unfortunately, becoming separated from the main convoy, he will never get to Sadr City. Rather, as we shall see, he and his security team must draw on all their powers of persuasion to see themselves out of a tight situation.
We're going to go through a district called Karata, okay? It has been notoriously dangerous. And actually, the river road that we go down is where Tariq Aziz and most of Saddam's ministers used to live, so the houses are very nice. However, it was taken over now by the new government, the Kurdish. A lot of security there, okay? The problem with being a lot of security there is you don't know if they're real or bogus. Okay, so you've got to be very careful when you're going through. I mean, it's very easy to buy a police or an army uniform in the shop here, get an AK and set up your own checkpoint. We just got to go down it and take our chances.
Chances are taken every day in this job, and with these chances, often the future is overlooked.
These are all disposable people. So to even assume that anybody cares, is a joke. They fill a short-term need. People are not interested in the long-term outlook of security contractors. You come in for your 90 days, they never want to see you again.
You're not checking IDs. No one gives a shit what you do or who you are or how big you are. They will shoot at you. The Americans will shoot at you by mistake. Anyone could. People get scared. People drop their guns and get shot by mistake. When a car blows up, it doesn't matter how big you are.
Oi, excuse me, embassy badge. Embassy, hello. US embassy.
In a city with numerous checkpoints where a shoot-to-kill policy is in force, the goal is to get through any way you can. Passes issued by the US Embassy often prove the only way through.
An embassy badge.
Fucking babbling like a fucking parrot.
The police are all aligned with various militia groups, so even a friendly police checkpoint is also making a phone call saying there's a convoy coming your way. So you trust no one, really.
Yeah, well, obviously having a few dramas with this guy. We'll see if we can work it out, mate.
Oh, fuck off.
With Iraqi forces now controlling most checkpoints, it is rare to see American troops on anything but heavily defended patrols.
Give us your badge, mate. Thank you.
The problem is they're not fixed. You have fixed checkpoints in between neighborhoods, and you also have roving checkpoints, which are death squads or police. Checkpoints have a variety of purposes. All of them are nefarious as far as I'm concerned.
US Embassy, yes?
Embassy badge. Let
us go and talk to the Americans. The Americans will be okay. Well, let us go.
علينا عنده باج قوي.
باج قوي. الرتل العسكري شنو الامريكي؟ الرتل العسكري الامريكي شنو؟ دوريات ممنوع يعني العارضه مفتوحه مطالبها مرفوعه.
يابا خلينا اتملك شغله علينا خليها.
We can get through on this badge.
يابا دولة بالسفارة. Donkey.
Slow down. Fucking Jesus. Well, there's the guy in the turret with the gun, mate. I don't have to explain everything to you. See where his gun's pointing? Back down Sadoon Street, back down Green Zone. Assassin's Gate. As quickly as we can.
Anything can happen. There is definitely a huge price to pay when you go over there. Physically, your life or your limbs. Mentally, more than I think the average person can handle. You have to be a certain type of person to be able to do this job, and you have to be quite a cold and empty person. But on the other hand, he's the most lovely, sensitive guy I know. That's at home. But when he's over there, and I've seen Barrie work firsthand, I've seen it when we lived in Jordan. I've seen him do things, and I've watched him and thought, shit, I don't even know that guy.
The pay reflects the hardships. I mean, if you're getting paid $500, $600, $750 a day, a percentage of that is obviously commensurate with your skills, but most of it is really to attract people of a high caliber to work under conditions that I would consider to be atrocious.
Like every other average family, it was always a struggle to come up with a deposit for a home. We knew that this would give us our opportunity.
As far as money goes, him sending it back, he makes great money for what he does. Is it worth it? When he's gone and he comes home, yeah, totally. When you really think about it, no.
I always wanted, as a mum, be able to know that there was money there for the kids. School fees, uniforms, school trips, things like that.
All of our kids have better lives for what Barrie does. All of ours. Monetarily wise, absolutely brilliant. We have a pretty good lifestyle. We have a good car, we have a good house, we have all that, and the fact of the matter is we are playing with the house of cards, and at any time it could go. At any time anything could happen. Like I said, there is no insurance.
More and more, his trip is forcing him to question why he would ever want to work again in Iraq. And as the smoke rises from one of the dozens of daily car bombs in Baghdad, Barrie decides to show the camera team following him the stark reality of choosing to work in Iraq. He wants Kiwis to understand the realities of the protection business. However, like many good intentions, it will lead to unimagined consequences.
What we're about to do is head out into Mansour district just a little bit. We heard there was an IED, improvised explosive device, on a PSD detail, and we believe the wreckage is still there, or we think the wreckage is still there. What we're going to do, at great risk I might add, is head on out there, do a very quick show and tell about what we see, and hopefully bring across the stark reality of what we're actually trying to prevent happening to us over here. I just want to bring across the reality of what can happen out here and how things can end up if they all go wrong. All right, but also give an indication of the kind of enemy we're against. That's what we're trying to do. We'll just see how it goes. All right.
We'll take a slightly different route for you, mate. You go out that way and then down.
The reason we're going to spend a very limited amount of time, and I'm speaking no more than 2 minutes, believe me, is because it's in a very dangerous area. It's by a mosque that's been known to have weapon caches, snipers in the tower. They're big supporters of the insurgency, and it just doesn't make any sense being there any longer than we need to be. Yeah, to be honest, it doesn't make any sense going out there, but it's a very good way of perhaps demonstrating or showing what can happen if things do go wrong, right? The reason there's bugger all traffic is because of getting very close to Ramadan. They're all going home, they're all going to the mosque to pray. Best time for us to do this.
The wreck the team is driving to see is not just twisted metal, but a vehicle similar to this that 24 hours ago held 2 men. They are both now dead.
Ready? Unlock the doors. You can see this is the result of an IED. Basically nothing left of the vehicle. It was armoured and reinforced. I can guarantee one thing, people have died here. Okay, you see the results, see the mess it made on the road. Look at a digital power pole. That's probably where it started it. Not a pretty sight. This is the reality of this job. So don't think you're over here to have it easy, okay? When someone dies, remember this. This is what we've got to deal with. All right? Think about it hard. Ready? Guy over there for telephone. Let's go. Let's go.
Across the road, a man has been spotted filming the team and talking on a cell phone. It is a very, very dangerous turn of events.
That's us completing mobile.
Roger, mate. That's a quick one. You completed mobile.
Did you see the...
Defensive running back to the green zone, mate.
Go, 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 go.
What the PSD team noticed and brought to my attention, so I could tell you, was there was a guy directly across from that in a house, one level up, filming us, all right? And then he was also on the mobile telephone at the same time. That's exactly what you don't want. You can guarantee, you can just about put money on it, he's ringing up to set up an ambush, or he's filming us to identify these vehicles or these guys themselves. I mean, that's the reality of it all. I mean, these guys have taken their lives by showing us these sort of like these places, and if they get their faces on video or on film in this particular environment in this country, it can come back to haunt them. All right, so that's why we bailed as quick as we did, and we still are.
So, are we safe now? Or?
Not safe until we're back in the back in your home country, back in New Zealand. No, you're never safe. They still have mortars, they still have rockets, you know, to define safe.
Upon their arrival back at the compound, the team learned from intelligence sources that 2 armed militia squads were believed to have been dispatched to the IED site in an attempt to kill or capture Barrie and the security team.
So that New Zealand film team was an easy target to that Iraqi guy who was filming them, and for sure he called his people, telling them to encircle the area, besiege the area, and attack them and kidnap them. But it seems they were lucky because they left the area immediately. If they had stayed more, we have to say, as we say in Iraq, Yarhamhum Allah. It means let God mercy them.
Loss of life is the daily reality for those working in Baghdad. But for Barrie, a phone call is about to challenge his every thought about staying in Iraq.
Yeah, the funny thing is, we've been over here talking about the dangers of the job and the sort of reality of it all. I got a call about 2 or 3 minutes ago, and a good friend of mine in the company that I used to be in just got killed today, now, you know, and yeah, and it sort of knocks it home, particularly for me, because I knew this guy really well. And, you know, we did a lot of work together, and now he's dead. Can't help but think about his poor family back in the States too now, you know, to be quite honest. I'm glad I'm out of it.
You know, it is not about the money, and it is. Can you, as a wife or a girlfriend, pick up the pieces when they come home, if they come home? You know, you have to be prepared for that. It's a bit dramatic. It may sound a bit dramatic, but when you deal with them when they come home after 3 months away, they're all the same. Every single one of them I've met is all the same. You know, they're temperamental, I mean, I driving a car with Barrie when he comes back. You know, if someone's even too close to the back of the car, it's like we're going to get out and beat her up because she may be an insurgent, you know. She might be a 70-year-old woman in a Mazda or something, you know. It's just very dramatic. And I think as a wife or a girlfriend, you really need to think about it. It's not that easy. Yeah, the money's great. The money's excellent, but there's a big price to pay.
Yeah, the husband over here is completely different from the husband back there. I mean, the emotions are switched off for a while, and you know, it's 24/7, keeping yourself alive, and you're doing your job, and you sleep, you breathe, you eat, doing PSD over here. It's the last day. We're heading back out to the airport, and we'll be flying out back to Amman today. It's been an interesting experience, but we're not at the airport yet, so we can't really, you know, count our chickens until they're hatched. This is just as dangerous as anything, but once we're there, once we're actually out of the country, we can breathe a sigh of relief.
Death. You cannot come to this city and not face its presence. The wreckage of war, the evidence of lives lost or broken is everywhere. For the family back home, it is a reality they must face on a daily basis.
I went down to answer the phone, and then I heard her voice, and as soon as I heard her voice, I knew. She said she told me who she was, and she just said, "I've got some disappointing news for you." I went. I ran up to my mum's room, and I said, I was yelling and screaming, and I just said, "Mum," and she said, "What's the matter?" I said, "Arms, it's dead." I knew.
You put pressure on yourself. Well, geez, do I go back again? You know, this is actually good. Everyone's happy. Everyone's loving me when I come back, and they really miss me when I'm away, and I'm earning some money. And some guys do put the pressure on and come back when they don't want to. Right, but they just don't have the heart or the honesty to tell their partners or whoever. And that's a very, very dangerous situation.
I knew he had gone because you just do. Because, you know, when you're married, you become one and you feel what they feel. And, you know, you become soulmates. And that's what we were.
Just for myself, yeah, I was thinking, okay, yeah, I could probably come back and do this again, but you know, the news of my friend getting killed has honestly set it in stone. Yeah, I'm not coming back here. I'll do this somewhere else, you know, so yeah, so fuck that.
See, the fantasy is, hey, I was in the military defending my country for 20 years, so I'm going to go to Iraq and help out with the reconstruction, which is absolutely true. I mean, you're guarding people reconstructing the country. That's somewhat of the fantasy because, in effect, you're not. You're actually providing a privatized source of violence because the U.S. military doesn't control the country. And the Iraqis, for whatever reason, don't want foreign influence in their country. So you become sort of this rogue element of people who are enforcing reconstruction on the people, which is rather a humorous idea. The other thing that's worth thinking about is that why do you need 700 members of the Iraqi government to go to and from work at high speed in armed detail? Doesn't that say something about the country itself? Why do you need mercenaries to keep the lid on what should be positive projects? Why do you need to drive at 80 miles an hour with 12 guys with machine guns bristling from your car just to get to the airport? You know, these are fundamentally disturbing questions that if they were turned around, in other words, if you went back to New Zealand and you had men with guns pointing at you saying, stop, get out of the way, you know, we're more important than you, what effect does that have on the long-term relationship between the West and the country we're supposedly saving?
Approaching the checkpoint 1 here, on our way out, a lot of traffic. We're actually stuck behind the PSD team and they've stopped everybody just to keep some distance between them. It's very slow progress from here on in to actually before we check in. And, you know, like I've said before, we're not there yet, so still looking. There's been many attacks in this area, particularly VBIEDs, vehicles full of explosives driving in and detonating amongst the general public. So we're just going to go slowly until we get there.
So if one was to come now, could we do anything or what?
If one was to come now, yeah, we could die.
There will come a time as you export your best military minds and skills into third world countries and into areas of conflict, that there will be a backlash, and it'll fall directly on the lap of the country that trained them. And can you pass a law and prevent that from happening? No, but at least it shows your position on exporting a skill that was designed to protect your country now being used to do something that you don't agree with in a foreign country.
Glad to be going home, yes. Yeah, I'm glad to be going home. I found out this morning it wasn't just my friend who got killed, it was everybody in his vehicle. So there was 4 people killed with this one roadside bomb. So yeah, I found that out this morning, and yeah, it just cements again my conviction for going home.
Hey, 120. 120. Thank you.
This program was made with funding from New Zealand On Air.